As you and I have been talking about now for months, former President Donald Trump is facing a cash crunch after his mounting legal issues. And money from Truth Social going public isn't expected to imminently help. But before we dive into that conversation, can you walk us back, tell us why he owes so much money?
He's in a lot of trouble. He's in a lot of trouble. A lot of legal problems going on there. And he's also, heavily leveraged in some areas as well. He was fined a combined $88 million in two suits where he was found liable, brought by Each and Carroll. He was also fined, I think it's like $455 million and counting by New York State in the civil fraud trial after he was being found liable there. And then I wrote about last week, he's got a $120 million mortgage coming due on 40 Wall Street coming through in 2025. So he's going to, even after he gets these legal problems, he's still going to be facing some mortgages that he's got to deal with.
But it does sound like there is a bright spot for the former president financially. On Friday, Digital World voted to merge with his Trump Media and Technology Group. This move has been years in the making. Can you talk about what led up to this merger?
Yeah, getting $3.3 billion richer is certainly a bright spot. So a couple years back, Digital World formed. It's a SPAC. It's kind of a shell company that exists just for the purposes of acquiring another company. It decided it wanted to acquire Trump Media. Trump Media was on board with that, so they announced this plan. But it took a long time for them to actually get to this point. The SEC investigated. There are a lot of rules regarding SPACs, and one of them is that they can't have formed knowing who they would want to merge with already. And there was a bunch of evidence that came out that some of the executives of the SPAC had been in communication with some executives at Trump Media before they should have. So there was investigation, there were fines paid. But finally, I guess it was just a couple weeks ago, the SEC said this could go ahead and proceed. The SPAC had its shareholders vote. They, of course, voted overwhelmingly in favor of this. Most people who bought into that SPAC did so with the expectation that they would be buying into Trump Media and Truth Social, which is its major holding there.
So you said $3.3 billion is a bit more than a bright spot. He owes hundreds of millions of dollars, but you're reporting that this won't exactly help him. You write this: the multi-billion-dollar windfall will not help him pay his fines. Quote, it won't even help him secure a bond to cover those fines while he appeals. Why not?
He is locked up for 6 months, and that he is not able to sell any of his stocks. And that's the same with anybody else who is involved in this merger. So it's not like it's just the Donald Trump rule, but he is not allowed to either sell them or use them as collateral, which is not always typical of these kind of mergers. I understood. I talked to 3 experts in IPOs, and they said, it's having a clause in there that specifically precludes using them as collateral was not typical. But that certainly is the case. Now, there is a way around it, in that he could possibly tap into this cash before the 6 months has passed with permission from the board of directors, which includes, I think it's like 3 or 4 former Trump administration officials, some other guy named Donald Trump Jr., who's probably likely to vote however his dad would like. But there are problems with that, too. If they just go ahead and greenlight his dad cashing out on this, the experts I spoke to said that they would almost certainly be hit with a shareholder lawsuit saying like, hey, we bought into this expecting Trump was going to be tied into it for 6 months. Now he cashed out. This is crap. And there would be a big legal issue.
So what's the likelihood of that happening then if there is going to be that big legal issue?
I am not going to give you a likelihood on anything happening with Donald Trump. I mean, who knows? Who knows? The guy just got $3.3 billion, more than doubled his net worth. So, it's certainly possible. I don't know exactly what they've been discussing. It seems a little bit less likely to happen given what we just know, what we learned today from New York, where instead of having to fork up the entire civil fraud fine and penalty while he appeals, they knocked it down that he only has to do $175 million only. And he has 10 days to get it together. And it sounds like we're reporting that he has about $400 million worth of cash. And he has said that he is able to get that money, get the $175 million from his cash holdings. So in that case, this is something, an option he may not even need to pursue right now. But we'll see as this case proceeds and what that fine ends up being.